Good morning, good afternoon, and good night.
I thought you were going to say good morning, America.
How are you, my baby cakes?
I love you so much. Well, today I'm a little flustered. Life is busy, but otherwise feeling good.
I'm trying to think the last time I saw you. I saw you after Coachella, but where'd you go after that? You had a trip, right? Oh, yeah, you just came back from Hawaii.
If you asked me where I was yesterday, couldn't tell you.
Well, you look amazing for getting off a red eye.
Thank you so much.
Welcome, everyone. We have a really, really fun question today. I'm very excited about it.
I'm scared.
I'm scared only because when I was even brainstorming my ideas, I was like, fuck, this is a little juicy.
Yes, and I think, but we wanted to go big for episode 10, so thank you to those who have stuck around for 10
Woo!
weeks.
10 sexy weeks.
10 weeks. So we wanted to do something fun and each give our most 10 controversial opinions.
Yes.
Now, these are hot takes that we think that others might agree with, but most might disagree with. Things we think are controversial. And we just want to share it. And I don't honestly know why.
I think there were a few questions we've gotten. I feel like after every episode, I'll get like questions, right? Like we see people kind of like digging deeper. And so I think that it kind of like parlays with that, with like the controversy, and like they all kind of like make sense. So
yeah. And I also think people will understand us more from this a little bit.
Okay.
Which might not be a good idea.
Shall we rip the Band-Aid and fuck it up?
Yes. Should I start light or should I start dark?
I think you go dark first.
Okay. So my first dark opinion, and I think that some people might think it's controversial, but I also know a lot of people that agree with me, is that I don't think euthanasia is, the most controversial thing on earth, and I think it should be allowed everywhere. I think we don't choose to be born, and we should have the dignity to choose if we or when we die, if we need to, because the alternative is suicide.
I could not agree more with you. This is a conversation that my family and I were actually just recently having, just because we have some people that we know that are like basically with like severe dementia and Alzheimer's and like living but essentially almost as a vegetable, and like the humanity behind it is extremely disturbing. And it's something I talk to my mom about like quite a bit, where we just say like if something was to happen, like I would not want to live that way. So I could not agree more with you.
Yeah, and I think the controversy lies in the moral dilemma of if someone's suffering, whether it be mental or physical, are they in the right place or state of mind and state of physical shape to make a decision like that? And I think to me that is the point, is that the circumstances that you're in don't matter. I think more it's the kind of decision that you make that should be dignified to you. It's your decision at the end of the day. So it doesn't matter like what happened to you to want to make that choice, but you should still have that choice. And again, like we don't decide whether to be born, we're just born, it's not our choice. So I think we should at least choose when to go in a dignified way, because oftentimes suicide is not, it's actually very dark. So starting light, everyone.
It's heavy, but I think it's a great kickoff, because I know that I wish that I had a different opinion, because I think like this is like a hot debatable topic, but I could not agree more.
Yeah. What about you? What's your first?
My first one, which I think is a dark one, is that I think body positivity is a total joke, and that every woman wants to be hot and skinny. And I think that the whole rhetoric that we have that goes ping-pongy between like idolizing Kate Moss and then when we had the Lizzo effect, I think at the end of the day, every woman wants to be hot. Every woman wants to be skinny. The entire like culture surrounding beauty, I believe that curves are beautiful to an extent. I am a curvier person, but when I look at myself, I always want to be skinnier, and I don't know one woman who even has a healthy body and a hot body who doesn't want to also be skinnier and hotter.
Right. Yeah, I agree with you to a set. So I agree with everything you said about like the body positivity movement, because I have issues with the movement too, in the sense that the movement became about not just being positive about your body. It became about people who are larger being positive about their bodies. It's not, the body positivity movement didn't have like skinny people being like, I'm so proud of my body.
Yes.
Like, that wasn't the point of the movement. So let's just kind of clear that up, that is the point of the movement, right? Is accepting larger bodies, is making kind of larger people feel more welcome into society. And I think that larger people, because oftentimes it's not their fault that they are, you know, quote unquote fatter.
It's just like so hard to talk about.
Like, I'm like, can I even say fat on this podcast? Like,
yeah.
I don't want. Okay, so I'm just gonna say larger bodies, right? And I think people who are bigger, whether it's their own doing or not their own doing, because I know a lot of people who are bigger who is just not their fault, should be treated with respect, should be treated with dignity, should be treated with kindness. That, like, for me, is not an argument. My beef with the body positivity movement is that I think a healthier approach is body neutrality, right? So, for example, I can even like talk about myself as an example, where I have always been a bigger than sort of average girl, in the sense that I would never consider myself fat, but I was always a bit chubby. Like, I always had curves, a lot of curves, and definitely, like, I'd consider myself chubby. My weight has always fluctuated, but I've always had kind of a neutrality towards my body, where I've always just been very neutral about it, where I don't hate myself for being bigger or having curves, but I'm also like not proud of it, like the body positivity movement sort of seems to be. And I think the problem with that is kind of negating the fact that so many of these people who are larger, who are proudly saying online that they're happy and they're proud, but deep internally they're not. And I think my issue with the body positivity movement is the kind of smoke and mirrors and the lies, because someone like me might just be very neutral about their body and be like, look, I don't care that I'm chubby. If I care that much, I'd be at the gym every day. I would rather be a little hotter and have a 4-pack and, you know, be skinny, but you know what, it's fine. Like, I'm happy with myself. So I don't know. It doesn't sit well with me. And then especially everything. Do you know everything that happened recently with Remy Bader?
Yes. It's just, I think my issue with it is very similar to yours. Is I think with all the smoke and mirrors surrounding it, especially when you're a young girl and you're so susceptible, I think it becomes extremely confusing. I wish that there was not a focus on it, because to be honest, I don't really care about anybody else's body but my own. Like, I'm self-centered enough that, like, I just want to feel good as me. I don't look at people and honestly look at their body. Like, I'm too self-obsessed with myself. Yeah. But I think that when it's, like, in the media and it's pulsed, like, be happy, be proud, love yourself, love your stretch marks, love your cellulite, it's, like, very, like, confusing. And I just think I'm very sick of it, and I'd rather it not be a hyper-focus. Like, instead of talking about, like, how much we love our cellulite, like, I'd prefer to talk about, like, I'm so fucking stoked that you're in med school and, like, you studied for 3 nights in a row and you passed your exam. Like, I'm just kind of, like, over it.
It's also funny that the body positivity movement focuses on weight, because you don't have a focus on, for example, face positivity, where you love your face so much you're not going to get a nose job or you're not going to get lip fillers. It's all to do with weight.
That is such a good point.
So, which shows that, like, because we're so obsessed with it, deep down these people can't truly be so happy and so proud that they're big. Because I promise you, if someone went to an obese person and said, I'll give you a switch right now, you can press it and you can be skinnier and smaller, they're not going to be like, I don't want it, I'm proud. Like, they're just not.
What were you going to say about Remy Bader?
So the whole controversy there was that she was obviously very, very big, and she was working out a lot. And then she went on Ozempic, which was a good thing. I'm very pro Ozempic. Let's just lay it out right there. And people were like, especially the body positivity movement, I think, weren't so thrilled, because she was kind of their champion, and then suddenly she was getting skinnier and they were like, oh no, you've lost us. But then she lost a lot of weight and people were like, wow, you look amazing. She kind of lost a lot of the body positivity followers, but it didn't matter because suddenly she looked hot. And then suddenly it came out that whilst she was posting all the content at the gym and speaking about Ozempic, she had actually done
the surgery.
Yeah. And not telling anyone that it's like, look, I now look like this because I've gone on Ozempic, I've gone to the gym, and I've had the surgery.
Yes.
So, I mean, there was a lot of smoke and mirrors there.
Yes, but it pisses me off. It, like, makes me so mad.
I will say, it's hard for us to talk about this because it is our opinion as someone who isn't obese. Although, technically, my BMI is I'm obese.
No, you're not.
BMI
is not a real measurement. Also, I'm just going to say this. Playboy, you're really fucked up for doing BMI. On your Wellness Wednesdays. When I see you guys do that on LinkedIn, I'm really weirded out.
Just to give context there, we obviously no longer work at Playboy. Oh my God. I feel like I'm like this today.
Yeah, I feel like
this mic
your mic is a limp dick.
Can we just...
The mic is
haven't had this feeling in a bit.
The mic is like doing titty fuck.
Let's just pause for 1 second so I can fix this.
No, because I was like watching it melt.
I'm like, the body positivity movement sucks. I was like, euthanasia is okay.
Should I get
SOS? And we're
back.
Fucking hell. Okay, yeah, so body positivity, it's a tough one for us to talk about because we are coming from the viewpoint of someone who isn't morbidly obese, who has never had to be part of that movement. I mean, I could have been. Honestly, I could have been. But again, I'm just so neutral towards my body that it's not for me. But we have maybe that privilege of not having, we haven't had those thoughts.
Yeah.
It's a tough one. And
it's so a ...
I'm scared.
I said what I said.
Yeah, you did. I'm scared.
Oops.
All right, I'm going to go light now.
Okay.
After body positivity and euthanasia. I don't think Nepo babies are such a bad thing.
I never understood that. I love Nepo babies.
Because also, again, there is this sort of double standard where it's like, if you're a Nepo baby to like a singer or an actress or an actor, you're viewed as a Nepo baby and people look down on you and say that everything you've gotten is because of your family. But then if your parents work in finance and you follow in their footsteps, it's admirable. Or like if your dad is a doctor and then you become a surgeon or a doctor, people are like...
I would love to be a Nepo baby. Like, I always joke with my brother. We're always like, let's Nepo this shit. Like, I want to bring you to where I work and, like, overpay you. And we're like, fuck
you should really become a lawyer like your daddy.
Ooh. Sue me.
Yeah.
That's something because people are very passionate and, like, very against it and, like, get very riled up.
But wouldn't you? Like, if my mum was like Celine Dion,
obsessed,
I'd be like, teach me how to sing. I'm going to become a singer.
Gorgeous.
Like, I'm just proud of all the Nepo babies out there. I'm like, you did exactly what you should have done with that privilege.
Yeah.
Like,
fab.
Well done. And I'm jealous.
I think I'm jealous too. Like, non-issue to me.
Yeah. All right, well, we've covered that one.
Okay. So, I know, I feel like I'm going to agree with a lot of your antis.
Because we're the same fucking person.
Okay, next one is also not too bad. I think just, like, the whole concept around being bossy, I love when somebody says that I'm bossy, and I think that word has just gotten such a bad rap. And I just don't think there's anything wrong with being bossy. And I don't think it should have a negative connotation.
What if someone calls you a girl boss?
I don't think that's bad.
Okay.
I think that if you want to be a girl boss and that's how you want to identify yourself, great. I think...
You're just like, I'm just bossy.
Yeah, I don't know. I think I've gotten really annoyed when people are like, oh, well, you were bossy, or like, that was bossy. It's like, sorry, I have an opinion. I'm not meek and I speak my mind. And I just think, like, if a man did that, nobody would say jack shit. So I'm just kind of tired of, like, women with a voice being called bossy.
Yeah. I've been called bossy my whole life by everyone.
Yeah,
my
it's
family,
like, that's a compliment.
Partners.
I think we should say thank you. instead of being like, oh,
you're
sorry.
welcome.
Yeah,
for all
you're
the
welcome.
shit that I handle.
Yes.
By being a boss.
Yes.
Agreed. My next one is
agreed.
That's it. I don't know how you stand here, but this one is very controversial, especially for the current climate we're in. I am someone who can definitely still be friends, maybe not best friends, but I can still be civil and friends with people with different political opinions, even if they voted for Trump.
I have no issue with people that have different political opinions. I think for me, if it swings super, 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 super left or super, super, super right, that's when I feel like the silos can be a little too much, and I tend to like not gravitate towards that. I really enjoy having friends that have different opinions, as long as I think that, I mean, that's obviously, you know, can swing one way.
Yeah, and I think when I say different political opinions, I mean they voted differently to how I'd have voted.
Mm-hmm.
There is something to be said about different moral opinions. So, for example, I'm not going to be best friends or friends with someone who is homophobic and doesn't like gay people.
Yeah, I think that, yeah.
But I might be friends with someone who, you know, is not a bigot, is not homophobic, loves everyone, voted for Trump, God knows why. And because I think I've seen a lot of people online being like, I would never, ever, ever be in someone's life who voted for this man who's destroying lives. And again, I don't want to get too political, but I think that the best way in which we can come closer to understanding and towards the middle is by dialogue and by, you know, being close with people that think differently to us so that we can pull them to how we want to think, right? Like, how can you ever persuade someone of how you want them to view the world if you can't like have compassion for them?
Yeah.
So that's a controversial one because I get the other side. I absolutely get it why someone would not be friends or close to someone that is doing something bad to, you know, negatively affect others. But that's just not me. And actually, since the election, I've just been really curious and asked people, like, why did they vote that way? Or, like, what they think was going to happen. Or trying to educate them or trying to make them see my point of view. Because
I think it's important to be open to other people's points of view. I can't be friends with someone who voted differently than me and then won't hear my opinion.
100%.
It's just like, you ick me out. I have no problem being friends with someone who voted differently than me. Obviously, to your point, if like our moral compass is different, I have very, very, very hard no's. Like, if somebody is homophobic, I actually am afraid of them and think they are so uneducated, and I'm so scared that I would run the other way so quickly because I think it is disgusting.
I think they're just jealous though. They're probably gay themselves.
That's actually so facts. But I have like a few things like that where I just do not fuck with people because I just am really weirded out. But other than, with the voting, I don't have an ish.
Yeah, I see, this is where it's a complicated one because like you said, someone with a different moral compass, but then they voted a certain way for someone that has a certain moral compass that doesn't align with you. It's a hard one. But knowing the people in my life and knowing some people who voted the way they did, I still love them. I still have compassion for them. I try and fucking understand things, and there we go.
Okay. My next one is, I think the wellness movement that's going on right now is really eye-rolly. I have a really strong aversion to it. It's like the same girls that were, you know, swearing off whole milk and like pushing almond milk and oat milk are now on whole milk and like the raw milk and the ghee butter, and like now all these girls that were vegans are now like only like eating meat, and it's just like the whole thing. I know we talked about this in a previous episode with self-care, but I'm just so sick and tired of seeing this wellness movement. Like, I just want it to go away. And I think last year when there was like the brat summer, I thought that that was fun, but the pendulum was also swinging like so one way. Like, I think like we should just encourage people to like find their passions and like, I don't know, just hang.
Everything's becomes quite preachy recently.
Yes.
Right? Like, oh no, for a fact raw milk is better for you, or for a fact soy milk is better for you. And
Like the sauna movement, like sauna. I'm like, I'm sick of all this sauna content. Go in the sauna or not. Like, great. I like a sauna too, but.
Yeah. I think what becomes hard with that is knowing who to believe and who to trust. Because if things are just a trend, they're just a trend and not necessarily the truth. And it's hard to know. I don't know what's trend and what's truth, quite honestly. I mean, there's things that are scientifically proven that are good for you, and I'll choose to follow that. But yeah, with influencers especially, it's a big niche, wellness.
Yeah.
On that note, I guess it's very much related. I am someone who I really believe that pseudosciences exist, and I think some things just aren't true. Like chiropractors, not true. Probably will do you some damage. Astrology, I say I'm an Aquarius. What the fuck does it mean? Nothing. Like, I can't subscribe to pseudosciences.
I am not into astrology. A lot of people.
What stars sign are you?
I'm a Cancer.
Okay, I don't know
but
what that
I
means.
just like when I read the astrology, I just like it's so applicable to so many different people. And then I think like when women get really excited and they want to talk about astrology, I genuinely want to see what they're going to say because their whole demeanor changes and they're so enthusiastic to share. But I just do not believe it to be real.
No, it's not. That's why they're called pseudosciences.
Yeah.
And maybe because I studied psychology, I'm just so averse to it because there's more. I actually looked up the other day, like, what other pseudosciences are there, and there's so much more.
I'm also way too scared to go to the chiropractor. I am so afraid. And on Reddit once I read all these like stories of people who got more fucked up from going to the chiropractor. So I'm just like, not for me.
Let's move on. I am loving this. This is like, are we gonna have a podcast after this?
I know, I'm scared.
Like, these were great 10 episodes and R.I.P. The end. Okay, moving on. I'm gonna go light again, and I'm just gonna say it. Money brings you happiness. Whoever says that money doesn't bring you happiness doesn't know how to spend their money. And look, I'm not stupid. I get it. It's the saying is basically saying you can't solve your issues with money, right? But maybe let's phrase it that way, because the whole saying of money doesn't bring you happiness, I think, is like slightly false.
I think that money brings you happiness. I think that if you marry someone for money, your relationship necessarily won't work just because you have money. So I think my only rebuttal for that is like when you choose a partner, you shouldn't choose them for money. Obviously, I think like looking at both financial situations and being educated as to what you're getting into. But I think that like, you know, if you marry for money and like you don't have a true partnership or like connection, then like it could implode. But do I agree with you that like money doesn't buy happiness is wrong? Correct. Like I love doing things with money.
She loves getting into her Audi,
like,
and drinking her $8 matcha and buying designer bags.
Yeah, it's just like, I'm gonna be super real. The reason why I have worked so hard and I'm so career driven is because I love making a bag of cash and I love spending money on overpriced items.
I love that. And I always, with regards to relationships, my life philosophy is make the money yourself and marry someone funny, hot, and loyal.
Yes.
Make the money yourself.
Yes. 100% agreed.
Yeah, I agree. And yeah, I just think that the phrasing of the saying just needs to slightly be tweaked.
Yeah. My one was being nice is not a compliment. So I think so often, you know, saying, oh, well, she's nice or he's nice, alludes to like this person is like superior. I think being nice is not a compliment, and that being nice can mean you're getting walked all over. You don't have the proper communication skills to express yourself. You're a doormat. You have been taking abuse that's like cyclical and you haven't been able to find your voice and you need to seek therapy. You don't feel confident to express how you feel. Like, I could go on and on and on, but I think like we live in a culture where being nice is a reward, and I think that it actually is like stifling men and women, and I would empower everybody to have their voice.
Powerful. But I do call people really nice in like a good way. Like, I think they're really nice.
But like, would you be able to describe another characteristic besides nice?
Kind, because that's
I think kind
similar.
is a beautiful word.
Yeah, so okay, so you're saying, okay, I see what you're saying. Let me think about that one.
Yeah,
It's
I
an
think
interesting
like
take.
when I'm not quite sure about someone and they're just a little bit of a doormat, I'll say they're nice. But if I met someone and I said they're extremely kind and like they were such a
Beautiful.
gentleman,
Yeah.
or like she had such an open heart and was like so sweet to me.
Yeah, okay.
Hot take.
I'm going to think about that one.
Spicy.
My next one is, I think, and again, fucking controversial, come for me, victimhood has become a fucking currency.
Yes.
Oh.
It makes me want to scream in my car.
Okay. So, like, look, we're all victims of something, right?
Yes.
Like I think victimhood can be found in anyone, whether they're disabled, whether they're a different race, whether they are a man or a woman, whether they have a different sexuality, whether they have a different gender performance. Like, there is, we can all find something. And I think nowadays with, identity politics, which I'm not going to completely shit on, like, as someone who is, like, I was like, what am I again? I forgot.
You did pause for a second.
As someone who is I'm bisexual, gay, queer. I don't like the word queer, so I'm gonna say like in the LGBTQ plus space. I get why identity politics is important and it exists, but I think sometimes we just take it too far and use our victimhood as like a currency. So like I like to think about it in I'm just going to talk about myself because that's all I can do right now. I am a woman and I am bisexual, or or have been with women, and I am with a woman, in which case you could also say I'm a lesbian. I've never once in my life felt oppressed because I'm a woman, and never once in my life felt oppressed because I am in the LGBTQ space. Now, I'm going to caveat that and say I have a lot of privilege. So like maybe the reason I haven't felt oppressed is because, as it relates to being gay, maybe I can pass and maybe people won't know that I'm gay, so they might treat me in a different way. And, being a woman, like I have some sort of privileges that other women don't have. I don't need to go into it because I think it's obvious, but I just don't. It's hard for me to receive things when people use their victimhood as currencies, especially because I know a lot of people in my life and outside of my life who have the worst circumstances that I literally don't know how they get up and are happy every day and get through life, and they do not use their identity or victimhood as a currency. So it's something that I find hard to sort of digest when I see it being used. And that's my TED Talk.
I think, like, I have lived a really privileged life, and so this I take with a grain of salt, obviously, like, similar to what you said. I think it's just everybody has a story, and I try to not weigh somebody else's story as being greater or more important than another person's story, because we're all just, like, trying to, like, make the best of our lives. So I think that when somebody comes to the table and is like a victim of their past, I don't have a ton of remorse or sympathy. I'm a very empathetic person, but I also would say I haven't had like the easiest situations happen to me, but I'm still out here every day. So I have empathy for people who have had a rough life, but I think for me, I've met a lot of people who victimize themselves
as
and
currency
use their bad behavior to get away with it. So an ex of mine had a really hard life, and he would cheat on me. And then when he would cheat on me, he'd say, well, it's because my mom didn't love me. And like that was his victim story. And so to me, I'm just like, that's not okay. And like using your past and the negativity and like the situations that have happened to you to then diabolically oppress somebody else and then expect them to feel bad for you and gaslight you. Like, I just think that happens a lot with like victimizing. I know that's a really specific example, but I just think also sometimes people who love to play into their victimhood end up being a bit narcissistic and extremely selfish. So I agree with you.
Yeah. And it's a tough one to even say because we have privileges. Like, wow, how lucky am I to have never felt oppressed as a woman, to have never felt oppressed as a gay person? And I know, like, that's not the experiences of my peers. But I think I used to even, like, on applications for things, I'd be like, as a Latina in the LGBTQ plus space, like, I kind of play up into it. But then I'm like, how has that ever oppressed me? How has being a Latina ever oppressed me? Like, or maybe I'm just like, maybe I have and I just don't fucking see it. Like, I don't know. But, like, I now never want to use that again. Like, I don't want to be like, well, but, you know, I am. Like, I don't know. I think the most oppressed people right now are white men because... I'm joking. I'm joking.
Men everywhere just got a boner. They're like, whoa!
Like, suddenly all these men are going to be chasing after me. Okay, I'm joking. Like, please, like, understand my humor. Like, I'm obviously joking. But I will say, like, like, fuck, like, they're not having it easy either. Like, men are killing themselves more than ever. They're having less sex than ever. They're having less money than women. They're having less college degrees than women. So, I don't know. I think we have some new victims, but it's not our fault. It's their own fucking fault.
Yeah.
Not a problem for us to fix.
Correct.
Just keep being hot.
My next one is a goofy one.
Okay.
Hello Kitty is actually not a cat. She is a British woman.
Wait. Is she like crate cuckoo?
Hello Kitty?
Yeah.
No, it's just like she's not a cat. She's a British woman. So like everyone thinks Hello Kitty is a cat.
I'm thinking of Happy Feet. Like
Happy Feet, the penguin?
Yeah, like how he's a bit ooh. Like he's a
This is crazy.
Would you get what I'm saying?
Yes, 100%.
Is Hello Kitty the same?
No, she's just like a British woman, and like each thing that she wears like symbolizes different facets of like being a good person. But a lot of people think she's a cat, so I just thought I'd share that.
I thought she was a fucking cat.
Yeah. See, hot take.
Wow. Okay. My final one actually, it's my penultimate one because my final one, I'm going to do something fun and share something, which I don't know if I've shared with you. But my penultimate one is that I don't think that there's anything wrong being in a relationship with someone that you think you might not end up with, as long as obviously like you're in the same wavelength. Obviously, it would be really kind of sad if someone thought they were going to be with you forever and you're like, I think we'll last for a good 3.5 years. But I don't think that that's necessarily a bad thing if, like, you're aligned with, you know, you might not be my one, but we're having so much fun and we're so in love and, like, I love this chapter of our lives and, like, I don't want to give you up right now, but anything could happen and you might not be my one. Especially because, like...
I'm sorry, your mic.
I don't know what to do.
Just, I think we finished it, but it's crazy.
Okay, this is crazy. I'm just gonna talk like this. Oh,
this episode is good. I'm gonna get fucking picketers outside my house.
The Republican Party might. No, I'm joking. They might recruit you. Okay, let's go back to my relationship talk.
Okay.
So, like, my penultimate point is that I don't think it's necessarily bad for someone to be in a relationship with a person, even if they think they're not going to be with that person long term or like forever. So even if they have the knowledge that it might just be for a period of time, just in the same way that, you know, someone might fall in love and think that person's their one and they get married and live happy ever after and then someone dies. Like, that was just a chapter of their life. So in that respect, like, I don't often see people who are with someone and they're really happy and they don't exactly say, oh yeah, like I love them, but I'm just, you know, with them for this period of time in my life. And I wish people were more honest about that.
I think if you are honest and you have the open dialogue with your partner, there is nothing wrong. I look back on like, you know, they say like reasons and seasons like in your life. I look back on some relationships I've had and like we were both so wrong for each other, but I wish to your point we could have just said like, look, this is where we're at in our life.
We're not going to end up together, but let's have fucking
let's
fun.
like have fun. We have the best sex life. We crack up so much. We love traveling together. Like let's just like do the damn thing. And like instead you're not honest with the other person with where you're at and then it just combusts.
Yeah, and look, like I think you have to have an agreement with the other person and you have to be aligned with, we both feel like we love each other but we're not going to end up together forever. Obviously if one person feels one way and the other feels another, that's kind of bad. But I just wish people were more honest about that and that was more normalized, because to your point, I think life is all about chapters and seasons, and I think a lot of people would ask you like, why the hell would you be with someone if you don't think that long term or you can't see a future with them? And I'm like, because that's life.
Yeah.
Like you're not promised a future. You don't fucking know your future. So sometimes just admitting that, like, you know, you might not end up together, but that's okay because you love them and you're having so much fun. Like I think that should be normalized a little bit more.
I agree. And I think after you saying that, I hope that it would like open up some chat for people to think like, oh, maybe like I should be like more honest with my partner or someone they're seeing.
Yeah.
My last one is a goofy one. But it's just that I think shower sex sucks and it actually hurts me so much. And I just am like staring at a wall, like gripping a tile.
So dry.
So dry. Hair is sopping. My hands are pruning. And I'm just like, is everyone pretending like they like shower sex? You have to have like a pretty big shower.
I have a rebuttal.
Okay. I just feel like it's so romanticized. And like when I have shower sex, I'm just like kind of closing my eyes, like, be over soon.
So my rebuttal is that shower sex with a female is lovely. Because you don't have the same friction issue.
Yeah.
Because the issue is like the friction and like.
Yeah.
But I'd say it with a girl is fucking great. Because,
okay.
you know, it's just different.
Yeah. Okay.
Ooh. Yay. Okay. My last one is something. I don't know if I've shared this with you, but my OCD makes me. This is my controversial take. I'm just giving some context.
Yeah.
I obviously make so many lists. Like my life is a huge list. I have a list for everything. And I started on my phone. I must have started this like a couple years back, where I started a list of it's called Things People Like That I Hate. And I just kind of kept seeing people like certain things that I'm like, why is this thing so loved? Like, it's awful.
Oh, I'm excited for you to share.
Have I never shared this with you?
You've told me about it because I started one on my phone after you told me that.
Oh, really? Okay, are you ready for my list? It's gotten a little big.
I love.
The first one, fucking cooking. Like, everyone cooks. It's a controversial take.
Okay.
I'll never get it. Why? Like, I just hate cooking. Can't do it. Don't get why spend the time doing it. I'd rather just have someone cook for me, because I do love home cooked food. Like, I don't like just restaurant food. I loved home cooked food, but I hate cooking. I'm gonna go through these quick. Bowling, getting your little fingers in the little holes.
I'd break my nails.
Terrible. Game of Thrones. Now, I'm sure this is great. I just never got I never watched it. Harry Potter. I mean,
I love Harry Potter.
Oh, gosh, fucking wizards. Are they wizards? Magicians? No,
wizards.
Okay. Wouldn't fucking know. Horror nights at theme parks.
I don't like horror nights. I'll pee my pants.
Cucumbers. Hate.
Love.
LED lights in bedrooms.
Hate.
Horrible. Shortbread. Not a fan.
I like shortbread.
Salt and straw ice cream.
Love.
Told you these.
I could eat a whole pint.
These were controversial. This is probably the most controversial thing we've said all episode. Park hangs, like, you know, when you go to a park and hang out with your friends, like, you just sit on the grass. Why?
I'm like kind of allergic to grass, and I also feel like I'm scared of like razor blades or stuff like hidden in the grass.
Like, yeah, totally. I love nothing more than hanging out in someone's house. There's like unlimited food. There's telly,
backyard
there's
hang,
music,
bathroom.
Why do we have to sit on the fucking grass in a park with no amenities?
I don't like parks.
Horrid. I mean, Anyways, we'll come back.
If we were in London and we got little Pims in a can and it was like nostalgic and romanticized, even we would be there 15 minutes and then you and I'd be like,
yeah, okay,
let's
time to go. We go to Primrose Hill, watch the sunset, and then go to a pub.
Bounce.
Forced fun activities. Hate.
Like at work when they make you do like a round robin or say like a fun fact or like anything like that. Hate.
Or when you go to like a party and there's activities set for you.
Like, or like a bachelorette. Hate
forced fun. Board games. Look, there are some good board games out there. Don't love.
I don't like board games because I can never understand the directions, and I notice people keep like explaining them to me, and I get like really confused, and then they're like getting frustrated, and then I'm like, I'm tipsy.
I love that. Mini golf.
Never. No. I do not like mini golf.
Charades.
I like charades a lot.
Madonna.
I love Madonna.
Hate. Fire shows. Like put the fire down.
I do not like fire shows. Hot take, like, you know how no. I'll just leave it at that. I really don't like fire shows.
Parades. Like I don't really get it.
I like a little kids parade on 4th of July where like the bikes are all wrapped and it feels like Americana, but maybe for 10 minutes.
Yeah, perfect situation for a car to come running through.
I like parades, I think.
No, I'm out. Magicians. Oh, good old Harry Potter.
I don't like magicians. I never got the magic shows.
I actually was at a party last year in June and there was a magician there, but I was really shroomed out. And I cannot tell you how awful a magician was on shrooms. I was like, this is so bad. Like, this needs to stop.
I'd be so anxious.
And the last one, now this wasn't always a hate.
Okay.
But I think we just did it so much, or I at least have, that I just, if I have to go, it's an in and out. But Las Vegas, we're done. We're done with Vegas.
The last time I was in Vegas was with you, and like I don't have a desire to go back. That was
fun though.
That was really fun.
I say that, but I'm going to Vegas on the 6th of June.
Oh, you are? For what?
Coldplay.
Oh, that's gonna be fun.
With LED lights, all the things.
I think I'm just not dying to go to Vegas. Like, I think some people are Vegas ride or dies. Like, let's do like a weekend in Vegas. Like, there's just a lot of other things I'd rather do.
Too much for Playboy. And I think it's done.
That's what I was gonna say. I just think we did it too much.
Yeah.
Question time.
Question time.
So my question was based off of like all of the things that were like your hot takes.
Okay.
Have you ever had a friend or had a relationship where your hot takes were so different and you had such like conflicting views that you had to say bye?
Not a friendship, but a relationship, because it was pretty different viewpoints on things that might affect me in the future that didn't at the time, but I thought, if this happened to me in the future and we have a different viewpoint on this might be an issue. We didn't break up because of it, but then in hindsight, after we broke up, I was like, oh, we should have probably broken up because of it.
Can you divulge any more, because that was like a little bit cryptic?
Just stuff to do with like women's bodily autonomy.
Oh, okay.
Female rights.
Okay. That is the mic drop. Literally.
Should we end it there? Well, let's hope we still have a podcast after this week. Goodbye.
You didn't ask me my question.
Your question is, out of all your controversial questions, which one do you think is, like, you could be persuaded otherwise? Like, someone could come in here and be like, oh, the body positivity movement is actually really great, and you might be like, okay, I get it. Like, which one you can be persuaded against on?
That's a great question. I would be persuaded against,
or flexible leaning,
maybe the shower sex. I'm pretty hard in my stances on the other ones.
All right, that's a wrap. That was